Feels like every week we're talking about something about gaming is cooked. Once again, Extended Production is back. But in all seriousness, right? I think the very easy thing for us to say when it comes to Xbox increasing the prices across the whole board is that we can say, oh, this is as a result of Trump or this is because of Nintendo. And I think that's too much of a nearsighted and that I think that's such a very shallow way of looking at things. I think there's a more nuanced approach and there's a more holistic point of view when it comes to this particular topic and when it comes to this particular subject. Xbox has just announced that they're increasing the price of every single thing that they have and that they produce across the board. From games being $80 to an Xbox Series X being about $600 to an Xbox Series X 2TB being $729. An Xbox Series X, a console that came 5 years ago, appreciated. This might be the only generation of gaming I think I've actually been a part of whereby consoles are appreciating and not depreciating. And yes, there are a lot of factors that have to be considered when it comes to this kind of things happening. We can say one of the biggest factors so far is Nintendo increasing their price to $80, which we could also say is as a result of Trump or the Trump administration imposing tariffs on China. And if you guys didn't already know, most of the technology you already have is based in China. But I could also say that isn't the whole truth, and I don't think it's fair to blame one company for the actions of another company taking into place, because Xbox could have really not increased the price if they wanted to. But here's what happens: companies aren't your friends. The concept and the notion of saying that, oh, this company is pro-consumer, this company is anti-consumer, isn't the full picture, because at the end of the day, there are certain points in time where a company might be doing things that falls in line with what you want to expect from that said company. But at the same time, the reverse can be possible as well. Companies are here for one thing and one thing only. They're here to make as much money as they possibly can. And if they can find a way to make as much money as they possibly can with the least amount of resistance from you, the consumer, from me, the consumer, they're going to take it. When Nintendo released the details about games being $80 going forward, especially some games being $80 going forward, a lot of people made noise about it. Rightfully so. Nobody wants games to be expensive. It doesn't make any sense for games to be expensive, especially when you have other avenues of collecting money. It also feels like I've said this before, and it feels like I'm repeating myself, but I still think it still has to be said. You determine the price of the games. It's not the company that puts the MSRP, it's you determining the price of the games, because at the end of the day, it's a case of you buying or not buying it. And with the current state of the market as it is right now, companies are starting to think that the console market in itself feels like the place where you're going to get the most whales. Whales being people who are going to spend as much money as they possibly can to help their bottom line. And what I think is going to happen, and what is going to be a slow trend, is that with Xbox increasing the prices of games to be $80, and with Nintendo increasing the prices of particular games to be $80, you know for a fact Sony is going to come in. You know for a fact, I mean, Blizzard is already coming in because it's Xbox. You know for a fact Take-Two is going to have something to say. You know for a fact that EA is going to have something to say. You know for a fact Ubisoft is going to have something to say about this. What that tells me is, if you're going to increase the price of games, it also means you should expect an increased expectation of what you're going to, or what consumers expect from those games. As gamers, as you guys who are currently watching this channel, we are not the target audience for game companies. As crazy as that sounds, we are not customers. We're not. Essentially, the customers for these big gaming companies are the shareholders. The shareholders are the reasons why a lot of things, especially when it comes to gaming, happens the way they happen currently. And it doesn't change when a tariff is coming about. It's like, oh, hey, a tariff is here, let's increase the price. It would be a very easy thing for me to say that the tariffs are the reason why things are going up. And that is partly true. But if that was the case, the increase in prices would only affect the US. But then every other part of the world is being affected by these. We have prices going up in the UK, prices going up in Europe, prices going up in Australia, prices going up in Japan. And the reason why that is because it's because companies are trying to spread the burden of paying for these tariffs. Because at the end of the day, America is the biggest consumer of said products. Now, where does that leave us as gamers? Where does that leave us as you, the consumer? What does that leave us as gamers, and what does that leave us as you, the consumer, and me being a consumer, me being a gamer, you being a gamer? It puts us in a difficult position whereby it puts us in a difficult position because you don't have as much money as you had previously to buy the games you wanted to buy. It also means you're going to have to be way more careful with going for a game that is state of the art. The day and age of paying premium price for games that are considered mid or games that are considered just good are over. And what that means is companies are going to fail faster because expectations are going to increase. If you're charging your game for $80, your game has to meet a certain expectation in terms of its quality, in terms of its, some people will say game length, in terms of its fun factor, in terms of what the game is trying to tell, the story is trying to tell. If it doesn't reach that certain level that we're expecting, your game is going to fail, or you're going to have to go on a sale pretty quickly. And that's the honest truth about the situation that we're currently in. We are not, it's not all doom and gloom, because I could easily say we're in the beginning of the end of the gaming industry. What I think is going to happen is something has to give, and I think we're coming towards the point where that said thing is going to give. There's going to be a reset, whether it's companies cutting down the scope of their games or something has to change, because the games keep on getting expensive every single year. We're just in 2025. What then happens when we go into the next generation and then all of a sudden, oh hey, from here on out, games are going to cost $90, games are going to cost $100. I think the best we can do as gamers is support your best content creators, support the people you like watching, listen to reviews, be very, very aware of the game you're buying. There's no point, I mean, hey, if you're a hardcore gamer, then this doesn't really affect you as much. But for someone like me who even is a hardcore gamer, but at the end of the day, I still like spending my money wisely and not just spending money on dumb stuff, it just means you have to be way more cautious of the things you buy. You have to be way more cautious of what you're going to spend your money on. You have to be way more cautious of the times, the things you're going to invest your time in. Men and women of culture, all I can say right now is it's going to get worse before it gets better. But at the same time, there are ways you can combat this. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope to hear from you soon. Please make sure to like the video, comment in the comment section down below. It helps out the algorithm. I'm trying to get to 1,000 views, 1,000 subscribers this year. Hopefully I can, but I think that's a stretch goal, but who knows. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope to hear from you soon, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace.